Many assumed that Ozzy Osbourne's wild side had long since faded, that he had retreated to a house of music and memories. But the reason the FBI visited his home wasn't insignificant. They had stumbled onto something secret, something that should have remained hidden forever. Even the operatives, who had a specific objective in mind, were rendered speechless by what they discovered. What was concealed in Ozzy's mansion that startled both the FBI and you? Come see the details unveiled with us in this video. Ozzy Osbourne's residence was the site of the discovery. Through his career, Ozzy Osbourne has amassed a considerable fortune. Among the world's most famous rock stars, he is without peer. Ozzy reportedly has a net worth of about $220 million as of 2024. Wow, that's a huge sum. He made the most of this money through his songs. He had a successful solo career in addition to his role as lead singer for the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. Ozzy has amassed over 100 million album sales worldwide, including those from his band and solo efforts. Because of this, he became quite wealthy. His solo CD Blizzard of Oz was a smashing success. The album sold millions of copies. Crazy Train, a hit that would go on to become a signature song for Ozzy, was also featured. But Ozzy was successful in fields other than music. In the early 1900s, he and his family were the hosts of a reality TV show named The Osbournes. There was a ton of money made from the show. In the show's second season, the whole family made $20 million, or around $5 million each. The Ozfest Music Festival was also started by Ozzy. In 1996, the inaugural Ozfest took place. As the years went by, the festival grew in size and revenue. By 2004, Ozfest had raked in over $100 million from ticket sales of over 5 million. Merchandise with Ozzy's likeness or name also contributed to his financial success. These items generated approximately $50 million. Notable brands who paid Ozzy to collaborate with them include Guitar Hero and Samsung. Ozzy and Sharon invested a portion of their wealth into real estate. They spent $10 million for a mansion in Beverly Hills once. They later purchased a second mansion in the exclusive Hancock Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. That house was unique and ancient. After making the necessary repairs, they listed it for sale for $18 million. They also possess a lovely English country house in the county of Buckinghamshire. Both Ozzy and Sharon have expressed their dissatisfaction with the current political climate in the US and their desire to return to England. Even Ozzy has a soft spot for automobiles. He has been the proud owner of several high-end, speedy vehicles throughout the years. A quick and ostentatious sports car, the Lamborghini Diablo, is a favorite of his. A historic British luxury vehicle, the Rolls-Royce Phantom, has also been in his possession. The Ferrari F40, widely regarded as one of the world's most coveted sports cars, is another vehicle in his collection. Motorcycles are another one of Ozzy's favorite vehicles. An alligator skin seat and a gas tank shaped like a cross were features of his tailor-made helicopter. In 2003, he was involved in a serious accident while riding a Yamaha Banshee quad bike, which left him with severe injuries. Despite his reputation for going absolutely bonkers when performing, Ozzy does have some calm pastimes. For him, gardening is a form of relaxation, and he enjoys it. He enjoys modern art collecting and, with Sharon, enjoys vacations in the English countryside. The Walking Dead and The Exorcist are two of Ozzy's favorite horror films and TV shows. A lot of his wardrobe consists of all black pieces, leather outerwear, and oversized shades. Stews and shepherd's pie are two of his favorite foods. Additionally, he had a little puppy named Rocky, who lived for 15 years but sadly went away. However, Ozzy's health has been declining over the past few years. His mobility is impaired due to Parkinson's disease, which he was diagnosed with. In 2019, he also experienced a fall that injured his back, which required multiple surgeries on his spine. His stated goal is that the surgery he underwent in 2023 will be his final one. Ozzy persists despite these challenges. He maintains his strength, spends time with his loved ones, and continues to communicate with his admirers. Even though no official report has verified it, rumors have been circulating online since his death that the FBI may have found something astonishing in Ozzy Osbourne's estate. A number of listeners have speculated that it may have something to do with long-buried secrets in the music business, while others have suggested something far more intimate and surprising. Did anyone genuinely understand the anguish that Ozzy was trying to conceal beneath his fame and fortune? Keep an eye out for additional updates. The shadowy battles that the Prince of Darkness faces. Rock legend Ozzy Osbourne is a household name around the globe. He is credited with contributing to the heavy metal genre and is often referred to as the Prince of Darkness. However, a guy who has endured immense suffering lies beneath the surface of his renown and his songs. Ozzy has had it rough throughout his life, what with coming from a poor background, fighting medications, and then dealing with major health issues. It was in Birmingham, England on December 3, 1948, that Ozzy came into our world. He and his 5 siblings shared a modest home with their parents. Not only was the house overcrowded, but there was also no indoor toilet. We were having a hard time making ends meet. Ozzy struggled with reading and writing when he was a kid. He had a terrible time at school because of this, and he was frequently the target of bullying. Additionally, he was mocked for his thick Birmingham accent. A group of bullies attacked 11-year-old Ozzy near his school. He never fully recovered from the trauma he experienced at that time. At the time, he didn't tell anyone, but now he claims it deeply affected him. He wanted his own children to avoid carrying the burden of his anguish, so he drilled into their heads the need of speaking up when they saw wrongdoing. At the age of 14, Ozzy began medicating with drugs and alcohol to alleviate the distressing thoughts that plagued him. His mind was consumed by anguish and despair, he said. His father returned home in the nick of time one night, preventing his suicide attempt. There was a chance he wouldn't make it, but he did. Ozzy worked in a variety of settings, including a slaughterhouse, after dropping out of school at the age of 15. He was unhappy in every job he had. He attempted to shoplift at a clothing store when he was 17 years old, but was apprehended and sentenced to 6 weeks in prison. He added afterwards that he decided he didn't want to live that life after being locked up with grown men. Ozzy finally had his chance to realize his dream in 1968 when he became a member of Black Sabbath. The band's popularity skyrocketed, and their music was adored by all. However, the group's problematic substance and alcohol use was going on behind the scenes. When Ozzy's actions got out of hand in 1979, the band decided to let him go. He added that he wasn't the only one who used medications because he felt upset. Ozzy began a solo career following his expulsion. In 1980, he launched the smash hit Blizzard of Oz. He and guitarist Randy Rhoads became fast friends during their time working together. The plane disaster that killed Randy was in 1982. On the road. That moment would remain etched in Ozzy's mind indelibly. He was devastated. Ozzy continued to battle addiction throughout the years. He mixed various medicines with booze and used them frequently. He found out thereafter that he had unusual pill-handling genes. He was nonetheless aware that the harm had been done. He made a conscious effort to change his life in 2006 when he began the rehabilitation process. His performances were notoriously high energy, yet occasionally things would go wrong. One of his concertgoers tragically passed away in 1986. That night, there were also arrests and injuries. It served as a further reminder to Ozzy that there was more to his life than music and celebrity. It was replete with melancholy and grief as well. Many issues also plagued Ozzy's private life. To his first wife, he confessed he had been an unfaithful husband. Laurel Riley. He cheated, drank excessively, and used medications. Things worsened later on when he was married to Sharon Osbourne. When he was high in 1989, he attempted to harm her. After his arrest, he was taken aback by the realization of his actions. Sharon stated that, had she been armed, she would have taken him out. Ozzy persisted in his dishonest ways even after that. He informed Sharon when he forwarded a message intended for someone else. It crushed her heart. They decided to remain together after he received treatment, even though they were never the same. When Ozzy was riding his quad bike in 2003, he almost perished. He needed to be revived twice after breaking bones. His coma lasted 8 days. Simultaneously, Sharon was battling cancer. Their children likewise struggled with substance abuse but eventually recovered. The news that Ozzy had Parkinson's illness was announced by him in 2020. He was already in a lot of pain, and a terrible fall had just made things worse. He thought he was immobilized and felt like a bolt of lightning struck him. After years of suffering, Ozzy finally announced his retirement from touring in February 2023. He had never made a choice so challenging in his life. Despite his notoriety and achievements, Ozzy Osbourne has endured a great deal of suffering and has learned to persevere. Not only is he a musical legend, but he also overcame many obstacles and is now here to tell the tale. Ozzy had lost everything and had been through so much darkness. How could love, particularly from someone as dark as Sharon, ever enter his life? Allow me to go into this more. Sharon and Ozzy's surprising friendship. Sharon Osbourne met Ozzy Osbourne for the first time at the tender age of 18. Ozzy had visited her father's workplace to discuss management matters with his band Black Sabbath. As Sharon put it, love at first sight does not exist. Her initial sentiments were actually somewhat cynical. She found the band's appearance to be somewhat peculiar. In stark contrast to the well-dressed American artists she had grown accustomed to, these were shaggy and unruly. Appeared shiny, had a pleasant aroma. Being around them made her feel nervous, she remembered. She has no experience collaborating with artists of their caliber. Their demeanor was drastically different because they were from the north of England. But that night, she had her first live experience with Black Sabbath, and her perspective shifted. While visiting the event with her father, she was completely stunned by what she witnessed. The performance was so powerful and thrilling that it had a profound effect on her. It was a whole new genre of music to her, yet she couldn't help but be captivated by it. She initially took an interest in the band and Ozzy at that period. Sharon said that she and Ozzy didn't start dating seriously until 1980 when asked when their relationship became serious. Since 1979, they had been collaborating. How their connection evolved from a purely professional to a more intimate one. It wasn't love at first sight, she said, but Ozzy's charisma eventually won her over. She was struck by his candor and intelligence, as well as his apparent openness and vulnerability. She felt special because of the combination of gentleness and humor. The kindest, funniest man she'd ever met, she said. Things were tough when they tied the knot. From the beginning, their relationship was fraught with difficulties. An important consideration was that Ozzy had 2 children from a previous marriage. Sharon claimed she could see why Ozzy's first wife wanted a divorce from him. The real reason wasn't her, it was Ozzy's severe alcoholism. His first wife finally snapped. According to Sharon, she would have likely made the same choice if she were in her position. Sharon, meantime, was dealing with her personal issues. When it came to their business, she had separated from her father. The fact that her father had registered all of his businesses, tax paperwork, and contracts in Sharon's name created a huge mess. She initially mistook it for a sign of his trust in her, but now she sees how foolish she was. Sharon was the one who was held accountable, not her father, whenever there were overdue bills or taxes. As an illustration of the gravity of her situation, tax officials once showed up at her house and surrounded it with yellow tape. She elaborated by saying her dad did it so he could run away from home and see the globe. It was a trying time for her as she dealt with the financial and legal issues he left behind. Thus, she and Ozzy began their lives together with zero resources. Ozzy had lost everything in his divorce, and Sharon was being pursued by bills and lawsuits. When they first started dating, they were both broke and burdened by their pasts. Their bond persisted and deepened despite the challenges they faced at the outset. Through it all, Sharon's undying devotion to Ozzy and his magnetic personality kept them bound together. How did Ozzy Osbourne, despite his troubled past and subsequent fame, manage to become a legendary character in rock music? We'll have to see. Ozzy Osbourne's crazy climb to fame. Ozzy Osbourne's life has been full with excitement and amazing moments. In his universe, there was music, wild times, profound hardships, and unending fan devotion. He had a lengthy career in rock and roll, and fans remember him for the highs and lows of his career. My name is Ozzy Osbourne, and it always will be, is how Ozzy describes himself when he speaks about himself. That one line, however, does not do justice to the magnitude of his stardom in the music and pop culture industries. Ozzy claims that in the span of more than 4 decades, he has experienced what seems like 3 distinct lifetimes. To be honest, I agree with him. When Ozzy became renowned, he wasn't just another famous singer. He had a hand in molding the sound of heavy metal. Ozzy had a significant impact on the development of metal music with his 13 solo albums and electrifying live performances. Scary stories and eerie themes have always been a part of Ozzy's music. He has previously expressed that it was a lifelong goal of his to adapt his favorite horror films for the stage. In one of the more bizarre incidents in his career, Ozzy chewed the head of a bat while performing. He initially mistook the object for a toy bat, but upon closer inspection, it was indeed a real bat. Ozzy later said that it was a major error of judgment and that he endured excruciating rabies vaccinations as a result. His horrific image was further enhanced by that insane episode and another one in which he bit off the head of a dove at a meeting with a record company. However, according to Ozzy, those things weren't scheduled. Not wanting to be in the news was his goal. He was simply inebriated and lacked clarity of thought at times. Ozzy has never been bashful about discussing his struggles with substance abuse. Addiction, he said, was to blame for many of his life's worst experiences. He once said, "When I'm sober, I don't walk into CBS Records and bite the head off a dove." He even went to the famous Betty Ford Rehab Center, but said he relapsed afterward. He explained how hard it was to get back to a normal life after rehab. He didn't want to be around people or face the world. Behind the fame and growing love story, what personal struggles were Sharon and Ozzy hiding from the world? Let's learn more. Love, loss, and the man behind the madness. Ozzy was frequently portrayed by the media as being even more crazy than he actually was. There was a man who cared about people beneath all the headlines. He made mistakes, but he tried to be kind. He formally retired from touring in 2023. He said he had spent nearly 50 years on the road and missed out on a lot, like watching his kids grow up. Now that he has grandkids, he just wanted to be around family more. Ozzy's impact wasn't just in music. He also became a reality TV star thanks to the Osbournes. The show gave fans a close look at his family life. Alongside his wife Sharon and their kids, Kelly and Jack, Ozzy let people see the real him at home. The show was new and bold for its time. No other rock star had ever opened up their home to the public like that. It ran for 4 seasons and introduced Ozzy to a whole new group of fans. Through everything, Sharon Osbourne was always by his side. Ozzy said she was more than his wife. She was his teammate and soulmate. Sharon also once said that being without him was unthinkable. Their love and strong bond helped carry them through all the hard times. No matter what, they faced it together. Still, Ozzy says the biggest love of his life has always been his fans. He once shared, "My audience is better than any pills, alcohol, sex, woman, or relationship. It's the best love I've had in my life." That love is what pushed him to keep going, no matter how hard things got. As long as fans wanted to see him, and he still had the strength, he would get back on stage. Ozzy Osbourne's story is one of wild moments, tough fights, and deep love from those who followed him. He may call himself just Ozzy, but to millions of people, he will always be a true legend. What do you think about what was found at the mansion of Ozzy Osbourne? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.